One night, 7 world titles, and absolute chaos. The unbeatable fell, a new sprint king shocked the world, championship records were shattered, and history was rewritten in Tokyo. If you thought you knew how this day would end, think again. This is day 2 of the World Athletics Championships.
Pretty nervous there in the red kit, used to starting with a swim, a bike and then a run. But it's going to be a real sprint for the triathlete. So the first pace lights, ones are green, are going to be set at world record pace. We're hearing 8:06.11. Wang set all the way back in 1993. Remember, Faith Kipyegon gave that record a real scare in Silesia last year, in Poland in August. Given the performance in Pre, she was very open afterwards, said she has been struggling with a hamstring injury. There's a hope perhaps that stepping up a distance, going to a longer event might be kinder if you've been dealing with something like a hamstring injury, but we'll just let the race unfold and see who really wants to go off on that red hot pace. There is going to be a second light, a red light set at French national record pace, I think for Beaugrand, who's just trying to find her feet there towards the back of the field.
Very tough target, that world record, 8:06. 1993, the China Games, right at the end of that summer. In fact, I think it was the October when Wang Yongxia ran 8:06. Just think about it, that's 2 1500s in 4:03, and 4:03 on itself, 1 1500 in 4:03 is knocking on the door of world class. They need to go round here in around 65 seconds per lap to get that world record. It's very, very tough indeed. And just looking for Kipyegon at the moment, as she is coming round into 5th place. She's let a bit of a gap develop between herself and that leading quartet. She needs to get across that gap, that sort of gulf, and get on the tail of that little train.
Well, Agnes Ngetic, I mentioned the strength she's got, over 10,000 metres, over that cross country where she absolutely dominated it. I think it will suit Ngetic to go out hard and try and hold on, and 64 seconds for that lap. You know, we're talking sort of 4:02 pace. And she was saying to him that, you know, to put 2 4:03s back to back for that world record is sensational. Now, you know, we're looking at the second fastest woman of all time, Faith Kipyegon, who's just down sort of in that group of 2 behind, is probably the only current athlete capable of troubling that world record. But I don't know if I'm underestimating Agnes Ngetic, or maybe the strength can bring her the leg speed to get underneath 8:10.
Well, and Jessica Hull in 2nd place at the moment. You've probably got the highest caliber pacemaker in history on the men's or women's side. She's the Olympic silver medalist at 1500 metres. She's the 2nd fastest athlete ever at 1500 metres. And I think a few eyebrows raised when she agreed to be a pacemaker in this one, but it wouldn't be for Kipyegon at the moment. Top left of your picture, that was Kipyegon. Just gone out of shot. Ngetic there. Not as smooth-looking runner as Hull or indeed as Kipyegon, but they'll go through below us there. 1,241.85. It's quick and it's on schedule.
It's probably a bit too quick, isn't it? You know, that would give you 8:03 if they maintain that pace. They're right at the front of the lights here. And Ngetic is looking really, really good. She had a shaky start to the year where she was way down in the New York half, but reports afterward indicated that she got very, very cold that day in America, that she went off incredibly hard in that race and then faltered, and Helena Beery won, and then it was actually, she probably got her clothing wrong or her warm-up wrong, and she bounced back with a great 10,000 metres, very fast on the roads.
This middle kilometre, absolutely critical. Jess Hull has got to try and get her to 2,000 metres in 4:24. That is the scheduled target. I mean, 2:41.85, Hannah. It's almost 2:42. It's actually 8:05 pace. It's spot on. But I would have liked it to be a little bit slower, because you want to get that acceleration over the last 400, and then they get the record by going out a little bit more conservatively. This is a critical 1,000, and Hull here has got to stay there, out in front, on tempo, for as long as she can.
And there's the second pack, if you like. You've still got Faith Kipyegon leading, a couple of Ethiopians, Alem and Baweke, just there in sort of no man's land between Ngetic and the rest of the pack. But Jess Hull, remember, she's the world record holder over 2,000 metres here in this stadium, so maybe she'll just fancy the 5 laps. Hull is at the front of these pace lights, and I think she can sense how close Ngetic is to her. I think the Australian is going, she's right with me. I've got to keep pushing and get it. She almost looks like she's getting held up by Jessica Hull here.
I was just going to say, it looked as though she was almost clipping the heels of Hull there. It's the first track race of her season, but we know she's got enormous strength, Ngetic. She's a 63-minute half marathon runner. She's run 14:01 for 5,000, one of the quickest in history. And you can see how hard Hull is digging deep here, working really hard, stay out in front through to 2,000. They've got 3 laps to go as they go through now, and Hull is almost at her limit.
Well, that was a 65.3 for Jess Hull, so she's dropped kind of 0.7, 0.8 of a second, but she's done an absolutely tremendous job. Agnes Ngetic is 50 metres ahead of Faith Kipyegon. Kipyegon's working well there in second place. She's looking the strongest out of her group. But Agnes Ngetic now will just stare down at the lights here. She's staying right on. This will be the 2-kilometre split. 2:41 for the first K. And that 2:42 for the second. That's very quick.
That is absolutely perfect. 5:24 at 2,000.08. I mean, she needed 5:24. She's within 8/100ths of a second of perfection. That is nailed on perfection. And she's still looking strong. Eyes down at the track. This is a testing lap, this lap coming up, the penultimate lap. All athletes, Hannah, you know this as the World Championship silver medalist at 1,500. Everybody can pull something out in the last lap. This next lap, the penultimate lap, is the absolutely critical lap.
And there's wonderful support here in Monaco for this race. They love this event. It's such a mark in the calendar for them. They've been treated to some fantastic races over the years. And I think the crowd here, they know what Ngetic is trying to do. They know this lap is important. Perhaps the fact that half marathon strength, that 10K training, that will really help her here in this penultimate lap.
This is quite astonishing. Going through with 2 laps to go, it looks very much like the record is on. She's got a lap and a half to run now. If she can hold it together here for 600 metres, the world record is gone. And there's many, many who would love to see that record of the Chinese Wang Yongxia go. It was set in very, very circumspect circumstances. People were very suspicious of what they were up to at that time, the Chinese. Indeed, 1 or 2 of them came out and admitted on paper, I think in letters, that they were up to stuff, shall we say. So this is a record many want to see go.
Agnes Ngetic is finding this lap hard, just as you predicted, Tim. The bell will be a very welcome sound here for Ngetic. The lights are just starting to drift away from her. She's trying everything she can muster here to get on terms with the tail end of those green lights. It was a phenomenal world record for Emmanuel Wanyonyi in the 1,000 earlier. It's too greedy, surely, to wish for a second world record in half an hour or so. You see the pack coming through behind Alem, who's winning the race of everybody else at the moment.
She's got to clear this last 200 metres in what, about 30 seconds. She may just miss it here. That penultimate lap was on the slow side. She's digging very deep here. The crowd on their feet roaring around this final bend.
This is such a brave run for Ngetic. She gave herself every shot at lowering that long-standing world record. And it's only been in the last 400 metres or so that those lights have got the better of the Kenyan great. She's tested herself here today, stepping down to 3,000 metres. All the attention was on Faith Kipyegon and a world record attempt. Instead, it was Agnes Ngetic, the other Kenyan athlete, that's delivered a brilliant performance. Crosses the line, a new meeting record, 8:08. That puts her the 3rd fastest woman of all time. Only 3 women have gone underneath 8:10, and you've just watched one of them do it. She looked disappointed, but she gave it absolutely everything. So furious sprint to the line behind Faith Kipyegon, ending up in 4th place behind Boeke and Getachew. Cassandra Beaugrand has obliterated the French record. What a season this woman is having. She's nailing the triathlons as well. She's doing very well in her proper sport, if you like, her main sport. I think she's just picked up her 3rd national record of the season.
Boy, oh boy. The 3rd quickest time in history by Agnes Ngetic. And you know what? People will dissect that run and say she went out a little bit too quick. She didn't save enough for those last couple of laps. And, you know, all credit Jess Hull, who did a fabulous pace-making job. She was virtually worn out with 3 laps to go. And Ngetic really attacked that lap 3 to go. And then she was very slow on that penultimate lap. That was the one where she lost it, really. Maybe, and, you know, we all know that you have to say something in the tank, and the 101% commitment was brilliant, but maybe just a little bit over-enthusiastic the first 2K.
When you also wonder if she'd pulled it back a bit in that first 2K, she might have had Jess Hull for 2,000 metres, and then just, you know, every metre makes a difference when you're trying to push on your own. But I wonder what this will do for Agnes Ngetic and her career, because, you know, she hasn't picked up the world titles and things like on the track. And yeah, she's pushing up the distance. She's so good on the road. But to run this quick over 3,000, I wonder if that's the kind of marker that would keep Ngetic on the track for a little bit longer, when that would sort of delay her move to the marathon if she knows she's got that leg speed.
Well, you know what it tells me is that the world record for 5,000 is living on borrowed time. Probably the world record for 3,000 as well. And goodness knows what damage she'll do at 10,000 and a half marathon in coming months and years. Agnes Jabet Ngetic, she's only 25. She's smashed her own personal best by something around 15 seconds there with that run. Another meeting record, just brilliant.
There's Cassandra Bograd. She's confirmed as 8:32, a national record by 3 seconds, and that's a really, really competitive time. And she'd even spoken about doing the European Championships, Bograd. She said, I'm not sure I can cope with the 5K, whether I get out kicked, whether I've got the leg speed. Wouldn't that be fun to see her cross over onto the track, onto a different sport? We have, of course, got Alex Yee, the men's triathlon Olympic champion, going in the men's 5K.
History was made today, but the story isn't over. Like, subscribe, and stay with Velocity.